Big crowd, small crowd, we're here for you.
So I appreciate you.
The man of the hour. I like the fit, by the way, man. Look like you're ready for combat. You're ready to go to war right
Yeah,
here.
man, the new kit's clean, man, especially this blue color. I like it a lot.
Yeah, very, very nice. I like
Very
it.
clean. Very
What I like a lot is this fight this weekend with you and an opponent who goes hard in the paint, but can also be technical to match your technical. And you guys might mesh together and give us a real good fight. How excited were you when you saw that name on the contract?
Man, you put it perfectly.
Thank you.
Put it perfectly there. Yeah, getting a name as Eryk Anders, especially being a veteran, and I've been from an amateur. I've been watching his fights.
Wow,
You know,
okay.
I was a big fan of his fight with Rountree, Rountree. He was around like 6-7 years ago, and I was an amateur at the time, and they was talking about how Khalil went to Thailand, and that's what actually made me look to go Thailand. So I was the amateur just watching the big fighters at that time. So to be able to now step in there and experience the octagon and compete against somebody at that level, yeah, when I seen the name, yeah, I had that heart race of excitement.
Wow, man, that's so exciting. And you know, it's something that we just want to know more about because we won't get to experience that. And you do, like when Uriah Hall talked about fighting Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
And Adesanya was in front of the GOAT at 185 maybe,
Yeah.
Anderson, and you're
Anderson
like,
Silva.
is this really happening?
Yeah.
So you're going through that right now. There's levels to this, and
No,
you
for
guys are at
sure.
the top. How do you separate the kid in you that's like, oh man, and then be like, I got a job to do, my man. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it's me or you, and it's gonna be me tonight.
So you have to separate. You have to separate your fight self to your regular everyday self.
Right.
You know, for this whole camp has been very much. He's an opponent. He's a person that I need to go in there and compete against, perform against, and then after I can switch off, and then go into that mode there. But for now and for the whole camp, it's been very much just locked in and focused on the mission at hand.
That's awesome. I love that. So it's business right now.
Business, business.
Well, you guys match up so well. Height, reach, striking ability, controlling distance, closing the cage, you name it. Where do you feel you have the advantages, though?
I know he'll be surprised by my movement and my speed in there.
Sure.
And then at the same time, we got a couple other tricks up our sleeve. But I know that he comes to bring the pace and bring the pressure. So I'm very much looking forward to this kind of fight that we're gonna have.
I see it, man. That smile on your face just gives it away
Yeah.
that we're in for a treat. And what added to this is that it'll be at the apex where we're going to hear every punch, every kick, every elbow, and it's a smaller cage. Does that benefit your game too?
Yeah, distance, close range, especially now, the way that I'm developing in my skill set and my style. It's scary how much, even from a week's training, the difference that it makes to my ability, you know.
Awesome.
And the guys at the gym recognize that. So given it's been another 5-4 months since my last fight, and the things we're working on, big cage, small cage, it's irrelevant. I'm there to put my game on.
Let's go. You're staying active. Is this a
Yeah.
good schedule for you? Every 6 months, 5 months, whatever, we stay in the cage. This is exactly where you want to be at right now?
Yeah, it's perfect. As I said, the way that I'm developing, them 4 or 5 months to me could be compared to someone else say a year or even longer. So being able to go back to back and gain the experience and go straight back in, I can apply everything to each fight. But yeah, this is the perfect kind of timeline for me.
Beautiful. And last for me before we go, did you get to use anything in Vegas different, like Extreme Couture, Syndicate, the UFC PI, any little tricks you added to this camp for Eryk?
So most of my camp's been back home in the UK, at Renegade, Birmingham, with Leon Edwards. You got his brother there, Fabian, and a lot of the other guys that have been helping me out, you know, especially some of the middleweights there too. But we come here a couple of days early, or a week or so early, and we've been using the PI just for, you know, training sessions and strength conditioning, that kind of stuff there. But our main camp has been back home, UK, Renegade, and then my hometown at range with Mark Weir.
That's perfect, man. And just to follow up, with having somebody like Leon who's been to the top and seen the mountain and climbed it, these guys gave you good looks. They were able to replicate Eryk's movement, his footwork, how he thinks, maybe.
100%. Especially they have a very they're tedious with detail. The guys there at Renegade, especially when it comes to Leon, they dissect information, and they say things you might not have even recognized at the time, and it seems so obvious after. So being around these guys and they're feeding these drips of information, I'm just absorbing it all. And this is why I think I'm developing at such a high pace.
That's awesome, man. Well, it's only going to sharpen you, only going to make you that much better. And I can't wait to see that version this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Good luck,
Yes,
my
sir.
man.
Appreciate you.
Speaking of that training, we hear of especially recently, like the fight nerds and things like that. So when you take a look at where you started in your MMA career versus where you are now in that training, where do you feel like you've seen the most growth in that?
The most growth would have been, there was periods throughout my whole career as an amateur. I say when I stepped out, I done a brief stint in New Mexico, Albuquerque, Greg Jackson Wink. I was a big fan of John Jones and I started MMA. So as an amateur, I wanted to go there to kind of follow that path and see how they train down there. So I done 3 months down there and I seen a big improvement again there. Going out to Thailand as well in my pro career, there was a big development there. Just being able to spar with new people, unfamiliar faces, unfamiliar styles. So my development then, you have to adjust on the spot and you have to do it fast because they come, especially with the Russian guys down there and they're wrestling. Yeah, they come serious, so you have to adjust fast. So I say like the traveling in between my camps as well has been a big part of my upgrading. And now I found a home at Renegade. All of the stuff I was getting when I was traveling, I'm having here at home as well. So I think we have the perfect setup at the moment.
You're talking about the excitement, going against Eryk, but you also just mentioned John Jones. So the question begs, who are some of the guys that you've looked up to that you try to emulate your game after?
Jones, as mentioned, for sure. Anderson, Silva, as we mentioned. Mighty Mouse as well. Unexpectedly, Mighty Mouse as well. I like, because he's so athletic in the way he moves in there. I like how fast he is. Yeah, I like his style. And then also, some of the wrestlers as well, like I watch their style. Obviously, Khabib, I like watching the way that he puts. And I implement a couple of things in his game. So yeah, man, I just take what I come from everywhere, just from watching.
So I got to ask you this too. So, being that this is the fight against Eryk Anders, what is your prediction going into this fight?
After my last one, we didn't get to engage as much, but I know the way that Anders brings the pressure from the beginning to however long this fight goes, it's going to be a banger, I know that for sure.
Exciting. And within your weight division, next week, Hamzat versus Duplessis, do you have a prediction for that, how that's going to go down?
See, I've been asked this question a few times, and it really depends on how the fight goes and how they approach it. Hamzat's very strong early on, but we know DDP is he's a dog in there. He can grind the 5 rounds. So it depends if Hamzat tires early, and it could switch. But I think it's either way. We just have to see how that one plays out.
That's a very fair assessment. I want to go outside the octagon. Mondo mentioned the fit and everything. We saw some of the stuff on Instagram. Try to be fitted up and do your thing. For you, what do you like to do outside of the time, outside of training and spending time in the octagon?
Outside of training, when I do get time, first of all, I like to spend it with family and friends. But then outside of that, I like to travel quite a lot. I'm into basketball, as you may know, so I play a lot of basketball outside the camp as well, scrimmaging and stuff like that. I just like to stay active. Even if I'm not training, I stay active, I just like to be busy.
Give me your Mount Rushmore for top basketball players, in your opinion, top 4.
That's a tough one.
It doesn't have to be the best of all time, just your favorite, your top 4 favorites.
It changes all the time. MJ up there, Kobe, LeBron. It's tough, man. It's tough. But then I've got my favorite players outside of that. So, like Westbrook, when I was playing, was a big inspiration for me. That's the way he dominates and how quick, athletic he is. His style there. Derrick Rose, I'd have to put up there for sure amongst them. D Rose.
Those are some good players right there. D Rose, Westbrook, and them triple doubles. Going back to that travel, are there a couple destinations that you haven't gone to yet? Like, I gotta check this off my bucket list. I've been wanting to go for a while.
Yeah. You know what? The Maldives.
Okay.
The Maldives. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot and seeing a lot of that recently. So I don't mind seeing what's happening over there.
Nice. Well, good luck Saturday.
Appreciate you. Thank you. All good?
Hey, just a couple more questions. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
This will be your 7th UFC fight. You've done half of them in London, half of them at the Apex. You come off as a pretty chilled guy, but you also enjoy putting on a show. How have you noticed the different energies in the arenas, and how do you stay switched on when you're here at the Apex and you don't have, that home crowd behind you?
Yeah. So with it, my first few fights in the Apex I was used to that quietness and just being able to hear everything. Because when I had my pro debut on Cage Warriors, it was during COVID. So they was the only organization at the time that had shows running. So there was no crowd whatsoever. So it wasn't as much as a shock to me because I've experienced it before. So I just take it in my stride. But for me, the crowd, there's nothing like competing in front of a crowd, and just the roar and the feedback you get from that is nothing quite like it.
And you faced some veterans, you faced some younger guys, you've had good wins, you've taken some losses, but over the first few fights in the UFC, just in that time, in those 2 years, how do you feel like your game has leveled up as you approach, the most veteran test of your career?
Yeah, I see the past 2 years has been crazy in development, the speed of development as well, both because of traveling and now finding my home at Renegade and being around these guys day in, day out. And then these past few months for this camp, again, we stepped up another level in things more so outside of trainings, as the professionalism around the whole team. So like having things like a nutritionist, having things like, a therapist on schedule the whole time, and just having that whole professional kind of unit now, which has made a huge difference. Even in my training, has had a massive improvement in that too. So I look forward to just showcasing and playing with everything this weekend.
And you talked about at Renegade how detailed-oriented they are, and having been out there and watched them, it is very broken down. So as you visualize this fight against Eryk Anders, if you're doing everything you've trained and kind of set your mind to, like, how do you visualize this fight kind of playing out against a guy who welcomes a brawl?
Yeah. Controlling, explosive, and then dominant, I would say. I'll give you those 3 words for now.
But I know you're a guy that loves to fight too. So when a guy like Eryk Anders is in front of you and he wants to, make the fight a little dirty, in your mindset, are you trying to get away from that and stay technical, or do you want to welcome that brawl? Like, how do you balance that itch to just throw down?
Wherever the fight goes, I'm happy and I'm confident to be in the place I'm at that time. I train all areas, close, far, mid. I'm happy to be wherever the fight goes.
And then last one, what do you hope people are saying about Christian Leroy Duncan after taking care of business against Eryk Anders?
Oh, that's him. That's what I'm expected to see. Oh, that's it. Yes, sir. I appreciate you, bro.